Good morning. I'm Kat with Standing Stone Kennels, and we have Rogue here with us again this morning. And this morning we're going to work on clicker training her to place. We'll use the cue kennel when we get to that point, but place training is very important in our puppy's young development, as well as we use place training with all of our adult dogs to help them come into the house, settle down, and become a nice part of the family without bouncing around the house and bouncing off the walls. We haven't done any place training with Rogue yet, clicker training her to place. She's comfortable being on the bed because she gets to chew on toys there and treats and things like that. So in the last few videos, we've been asking Rogue to sit when we were clicker training her to sit. And then in the other video where we were working on good house manners and good manners in the kitchen and not jumping up, she was getting rewarded a lot of times for a good behavior like sitting. So recently we put a lot of emphasis on sitting, and right now she's doing really well with that, but she's sitting for everything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but because we've put a lot of emphasis on it, it's time to work on something new. The reason we don't want to continue putting a ton of emphasis on sitting is when we start teaching something new, a lot of times she's going to immediately revert back to, well, this is what I know how to do, and this is how I've gotten rewards in the past. So when we're doing this clicker training session with her today, you're probably going to see her trying to sit a lot for these rewards at first. And we're just going to ignore those behaviors until we can help her move her feet again and her to get on her dog bed, which is the place that we're asking her to be right now. Not under her dog bed, but on her dog bed. So let me grab my treats. This is actually her morning meal. And our clicker, Rogue, get out from under there. So getting her to move her feet a little bit, and as soon as she gets on her bed, she's getting rewarded. Now she is sitting while she's on her dog bed. We're not going to discourage that behavior, but we need to get her to move off her dog bed to get back on her dog bed in order to mark and reward that specific behavior, not just staying on her dog bed. Because again, the clicker marks the behavior we're looking for, but it also ends the behavior. So Rogue heard that click as soon as she came on the dog bed. Well, now she doesn't have to stay on the dog bed anymore. So I'm going to just get her to move her feet off the bed with a nice leap. But you see she's immediately sitting because she wants a treat for that behavior that we've been working at. She's been a little demanding, barked at me. But as soon as she leaped onto the dog bed, and it was a leap, she got a mark and a reward for that. Okay, come on. As you can see, me moving my feet is helping her move her feet to come off the dog bed at first here. Okay, okay. She's doing really well with this. You probably think that we've done this before, but like I said, we have not. She has just, oops, dropped the treat. She has just gotten a lot of rewards on her bed, like chew treats and chew bones, and this is a good place for her to be. So, okay, come on. So she's doing this behavior of getting on her dog bed fairly consistently. And I think that we're already good to go to start introducing the cue, which our cue is kennel. We use kennel for any place we want the dog to be, whether that's on their dog bed, which is what we're specifically working on right now with Rogue, but also we use kennel for going in a crate, jumping up in the back of the truck, getting in the bathtub for a bath, any place really that we want them to be. Okay. So as she's exhibiting the behavior, I'm going to say kennel. She kind of jumped the gun on that one, and I hadn't quite finished explaining what I was going to do, but you saw as she's actually doing the behavior of getting on the bed is when I'm going to say that cue. So she can start to associate that cue with the behavior. Kennel. She's still getting rewarded and marked for that behavior. Kennel. 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 And as you saw, it took very little movement I almost just shifted my body towards that kennel, which my body language has been giving her that cue of movement over to the dog bed. And what we'd really like to start seeing here is her not needing my movement towards that dog bed to get on her place. So, okay. Okay, come on. Get her to move her feet a little bit. Kennel. So this is not quite kennel. I'd like all 4 feet on the bed. Okay. Okay. Kennel. I'm still going to have to give her a little bit of help, it looks like, to get her to the kennel. She's not going to put herself on her place from a distance yet, which is definitely something that we're going to be able to build towards.
We got one question here, not really understanding the clicker, from Douglas. I don't know if he's probably not seen our other videos, but if you want to take a second just to explain what the clicker is, does, and why we use it.
Definitely. So the clicker is the exact same sound every single time, and it's marking the behavior that we're looking for. So instead of saying, yes, good girl, that a girl, this sounds the exact same every single time we click. And that's marking the behavior we're looking for. Whether that's getting on the dog bed, so as soon as all of her feet are on the bed, she hears that sound. And in a previous video, what was that? She might be ready to go to the bathroom. I'm going to actually finish explaining the charging and the clicker process if Ethan wants to run her out real quick, because she tanked up on a lot of water this morning and has been having to go potty approximately every 3 to 10 minutes.
Bro.
So while he goes outside with her to give her a potty break, setting herself up for success, I'll tell you a little more about the clicker training. So in a previous video, we showed how to charge the clicker. So this sound doesn't mean anything to the puppy until we associate it with a reward. And we're using treats or kibble, dog food. Food rewards usually work really well. And we're back. That was a quick potty break. So once they understand that that sound means a reward or a good thing is coming, then we can use that sound, that click, to mark the behavior we're looking for. Whether that's sit, which we did in a previous video, or kenneling, which we're doing in this video. And this sound takes a snapshot of the exact moment that they did, of what they did was right. So she got that picture in her head of getting on the dog bed is what she's getting rewarded for right now. So I'm going to help her get off the bed again. Kennel. Good. So I want to start being able to take smaller and smaller steps towards the kennel, towards the dog bed, I guess, to give her that cue, that body language, kennel. Because eventually I'm going to want to tell her kennel and for her to get on her place from across the room or from a distance, not just a few inches away. Kennel. Good. And we're making really great progress with this. You can
also see that she's not sitting as much.
Yes, definitely can see that she's not sitting as much for her reward because we haven't been putting any emphasis on that cue today. And we're probably going to start putting a little less emphasis on it in these next few sessions. Kennel. So that we can distinguish between the behaviors that we're working on. So right now we're going to focus more on her kenneling in the next few training sessions. And then we can work on recall and targeting to hear in her next clicker training session. Kennel? Good. Well, I'm going to get her dog food bowl real quick and feed her the rest of her meal on her bed. Again, showing her that this is a good place to be. Kennel? Oh, sneaky. You need to go all the way. Kennel. Not quite. You don't get this jackpot for only half measures. Let's go. Kennel. Good. So she's going to be able to finish up the rest of her meal here. She's doing a great job of exhibiting the kenneling behavior that we're looking for. And we're going to continue to work on this in the next few
We got
days.
one more question. It said, good morning, guys. Curious why you're using kennel for every location you want Rogue to go. Asking because we have dog beds and kennels for our dogs, and they go to whichever we command.
So we use one word for the same behavior. The behavior that we're asking is to go someplace. We use kennel because, unfortunately, dogs don't speak English. That would definitely make this training thing a lot easier if they did. So if we can simplify the cues that we use of kennel being a place we want you to be, that can be a dog bed, a crate, the back of the truck like I mentioned, and they're going to use context clues, if you will. So if her crate was here, which we haven't worked on kennel into a crate yet on cue, so that'll be something that we do work on as well. But if she's given the choice, because we have all three things lined up here, a dog bed, a crate, and heck, the back of a truck, which obviously she can't jump into that as well yet, she's going to pick which one she wants. But typically you don't have everything lined up right next to each other, so you're able to give her a context cue, move towards the bed that you're asking her to kennel on, or move towards the crate that you're asking her to kennel in. But that way we can simplify the language a little bit because she is a puppy, she is a dog, and she doesn't speak English. So the fewer cues, the faster that they're going to learn those behaviors.
Yeah, because dogs are place and situationally oriented. They understand what you're asking in that specific area. And I think you'd be surprised how simple we can make things for dogs. We try and overcomplicate it because we have a different word for everything, but ultimately the simpler that we can make things, the easier it's going to be for our dogs to learn.
Just like with the click. That is a very simple, basic sound. It's not good, it's not yes, it's not that a girl, because again, dogs don't speak English, and those words can have different sounds and different baggage. If you're having a crummy day, that's going to carry through in your voice. And so before, that sounded like a good, exciting thing, and now when you say good or yes, it sounds like, well, that didn't sound so great because mom and dad are having a bad day. So this is also simplifying the training process. And she's getting really good about going on there. She thinks I might have a little more food in here. But you've eaten everything for today, well, until dinner time. But we'll continue to work on this kenneling process. We'll also show you how we do kenneling in a crate and things like that when we get to that point. I'm just ignoring her for the jumping up behaviors right now. But we're going to sign off for today. Have a good day, and we'll be back soon.